It's a lovely morning for a change. And I hope you had the pleasure of looking at the long shadows of the morning. We've had many, many questions. We didn't count them, but there must have been over 100. And out of those, we have chosen some, not because they are easy to answer or what we like to answer, but we have chosen some that may be representative of some of the questions that have been put. They have been rather, if I may point out, rather absurd questions, but there are these questions which we have gathered together and put it this morning. When one asks a question, is the answer more important than the question itself? When one looks to an answer, one overlooks the question. In the question itself, if we examine it deeply, is the answer. In the question itself. And how one approaches the question is all important. Not try to find an answer clever or not clever, or an answer that is worthwhile or personal. So please bear in mind that we are together, and I must emphasize again, together, that we are examining the question. And out of that question, in the investigation of that question, the answer is inevitable. There are 10 of them this morning. I don't know if we can answer all of them, but we'll try. What do you mean by insight? Does it differ from intuition? What do you mean by insight? Does it differ from intuition? What do we mean by intuition? Having a hunch. That's having a feeling that's the right thing. And intuition also, having been sensitive, capturing something which may be conditioned, which may be personal, which may be a desire, wish fulfillment. And we must be clear and hesitant in using that word intuition. Because it may be one's own unconscious desire, one's own longing for something to happen, or sudden feeling that is the right thing to do. But I think insight is different. May we go into it together. The scientists, the physicists, they technological people have an insight into some invention. They see something new. Is that insight partial, or is an insight whole? You understand? We are meeting, I hope, together. I may have an insight, as I am an engineer, into the structure of a bridge. And I operate according to that insight. That insight is being more powerful. I adjust all my knowledge to conform or adjust to that knowledge, right? To that insight. But is that insight partial? A poet, a painter, a musician may have an insight, but it is still partial. When we use the word insight, we mean insight into the whole movement of life, not one part of it. Right? So let us together find out what we mean by insight. How does it take place? If you are interested in it. Because that may be the solution for our problems. Especially psychological issues that are such tremendous travail in all our lives. So, together, let's find out what we mean by insight. I'm questioning it, so please question it also. Is insight an action of memory? One has accumulated a great deal of knowledge, psychologically or physically, and that knowledge may, being limited, see something very clearly. But that knowledge being always in the field of ignorance, because there is no complete knowledge about anything, including oneself, and when there is an insight from that limited knowledge, that insight must also be limited. So, insight we mean by that word, it is not the outcome of knowledge. Knowledge being, you can examine, say for example, all the comparative religions, the various sects, the various rituals and so on. You can examine them, study them, and come to a conclusion. Whereas that conclusion may be rational, sane, logical, but it is based on the activity of thought. And therefore it's limited. And that conclusion naturally must be limited. That's clear. Whereas if your insight has nothing whatever to do with knowledge, it has nothing to do with remembrance. But you have an insight, say, into all the comparative religions, with all their rituals, sanctions, dogmas, beliefs, and so on. If you have an insight into all that, you see they are all similar.